Hello and welcome to Your Excellence 2011. In today's program, we'll be discussing how the rise of the VAT, national insurance and the income tax is going to affect you at home. We'll also be discussing and learning another interesting life story. So I'll be talking to Rodolfo Basilio from Vertis Service. Excellence, always bringing you inspiring life stories. We are joined at the studio today by Rodolfo Basilio, Managing Director of Vertis Service, an accountancy and business advisory firm in the UK. Happy New Year to you, Rodolfo. Thanks very much for coming. How are you?
Well, Happy New Year. First of all, I would like to say thank you for you, Valeria, and the network group for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here today.
So 2010 was a very tough year. How was it personally for you?
Well, I would say that 2010 was a tough year, but I would say that it was very changeable. And all the business people that basically overcome all the barriers and survived in 2010. I would say that I would wish them to have a very good year in 2011. And I can tell you, if you survive up to now, you will survive next year.
So how are your expectations for the new year then?
Well, my expectation is great. I'm expecting to have a better year in 2011 in comparison with 2010. I would say that 2010 was a difficult year because of the economic conditions. And what I can see now is that the government is working very hard in order to manage and resolve all the mess in the past. So I would say that 2011 will be 10 times better than 2010.
Okay, we'll be talking about your company in a minute. Let's just have a look at your background. So you're originally from Brazil, arrived in the UK in 2004. What was the ambition back then?
Well, I was born in Portugal and I arrived in December 2004 in London, in UK. And then my first aim and objective was to study English. And then back in 2005, I got a position to work for a business support agency in which I was responsible to provide seminars and workshops and network events for people who would like to start up their own business, basically. So apart from this, I was also providing advice about how to prepare a business plan as well as how to raise finance.
So it has been 5 years. How is the company doing so far?
Well, I would say that the beginning is very changeable because in the end of the day, you are responsible for the whole company. So you need to work for the financial department, you need to work for the human resource department, you need to be the commercial individual as well, the salesperson, and you also need to prepare the accounts. And after a few years, we are in a situation in which now we've got departments in place, we are better prepared, we've got knowledge, which means that I would say that it is easier to manage the business at these moments.
But 2004, the British economy was in a very different position than it is now. What were the main challenges for you back then?
Well, it was very changeable, but I would say that at the same time, I didn't want to talk like this, but it was good for me because my company grew in size, the number of customers increased. But maybe if the economic conditions would be differently, maybe if it would be very well, I'm not sure, not even if I would be able to manage the growth. I mean, structure, contract new employees, and keeping the same high quality customer service, because this is our main objective in Vertis Services.
So you saw a gap in the market. So what exactly was that gap?
Well, I mean, I think the gap is accountancy. We've got a lot of accountants, obviously, but I mean, it's not easy to find an accountant or an accountancy practice which basically provides a very close and friendly and high quality customer service to its clients, basically.
So London, we all know, is a melting pot of cultures. All different cultures live in the city. How did you adapt to make sure you cater for their markets?
Well, I mean, very difficult in the beginning, wasn't it? Because in the end of the day, you've got the language barrier, you've got the weather as well. So you need to adapt yourself. But I mean, to be a business person, to be a businessman, you should be in a position and you should have enough skills and you should adapt yourself for the environment that you are making your business.
So did you, when you first came to this country, did you think that you would be in this position now, running your own company?
Well, I think initially no, I was not expecting this. But I mean, since I arrived in London, I think that I fell in love. I fell in love with the mutual culture, environments, and how quick it is to make business in this place, because in the end of the day you can be in one place and another very quickly.
But is it really? Is it easy to establish a business in the UK?
I mean, I would say that it's not easy to establish a business, I mean, in UK and in any other country in the world. I think that you need to have certain skills in order to manage the business, in order to make the business work. But I mean, if you take into consideration the conditions in London, specifically in comparison to other countries, let's say for instance Brazil or Portugal, you can find a conclusion that business want to make business in London, and there is this business culture which is interesting, and the public transport works very well. I mean, it's quick to try to succeed business-wise in London.
So having worked for advisory companies before, how much has that influenced what you do right now?
Well, I mean, everything. I think it was the beginning. It was when I got and improved my knowledge, business speaking in London. And for this reason, I started up my business as well. So I'm very grateful. I think it was a gift from God, basically.
It's hard work though, isn't it?
Well, it is hard work, and it will keep being hard work in the future as well. I mean, to be a successful businessman, you need to work hard.
And make sure what you're doing as well, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. I think that to be a successful businessman, you need to provide the right service to the right customer, and you need to have a unique selling proposition. I mean, you need to do something differently. This is the idea.
So what is it that your company does differently?
Well, customer service. I mean, this is our main objective.
So customer service seems to be a key player in today's market because there are so many competition is getting tougher, and how make sure that customers do come back to you?
Well, I think the first idea is to retain the customers. I would say that for the last 5 years, I think I had like 1 or 2 clients basically who left us as being well, the provider. So I would say that keep your customers happy. Word of mouth works very well, which means that one client will refer to another client, will recommend it to another clients, and then the business can grow. It's interesting in UK because we are suffering from an economic recession. A lot of businesses start taking consideration and paying attention about customer service. But I mean, in the past, I couldn't see this in UK.
So do you think that's a reflection of the financial crisis? People are actually working hard to make sure they stand up from the crowd. I mean, some companies seem to be doing better than others throughout the recession. Why is that? Well,
I would say that the economic recession affects businesses in different segments in different ways. Some businesses will succeed, some businesses will fail, and some businesses will fail even I would say quicker than the other ones. I mean, during recession, customers will basically choose the service and the goods provider. I would say that they will be more selective in comparison with what they were choosing in the past. So, I mean, there is another point to be raised, which is like, if you are offering a service or if you are selling a good which is a primary need, I mean, customers and people need it, obviously they will keep buying from you. But if it is not a need for these customers, maybe because of the financial recession, economic recession, they will not buy from you, which means that or you need to adapt yourself selling another kind of service, another kind of product, or probably you close your business down.
So that would be your main advice for people who are actually struggling with the recession, offering always the best service.
Well, I mean, this is one of them. I would say that the main one is do not get afraid. Don't be afraid of the recession, because there is this recession way to think and way to live that everybody's just reading about recession. I would say the best way is take recession into consideration, but work hard. And try to be unique. I think that do not get scared in a situation in which you start, well, what should I do, what I shouldn't do. No, just do it the way that you think it is the best way to do it, that I believe that you will survive.
Yeah, some people seem to think that recession is a good thing, in the sense that it's a wake-up call to some business that may be struggling. So would you agree with that statement?
Well, yes, I do. Obviously, because of the recession, some businesses also appeared. I mean, law brokers, betting, in the betting segment, I would say that cash for gold and gold for cash, all of these. And as well as debt collectors, financial consultants, all of them are making money out of the recession.
So I suppose 2010 was a very busy year for you. What have been the main questions, the main advice that small and medium-sized companies are seeking from you guys?
Raising finance. It has been very difficult to raise finance, actually. So, I mean, banks are not lending to small businesses, as they are trying to promote themselves. They are promote themselves that they are willing to lend money, but they are not.
So are the banks going to start lending again? And what is the prospect, what's the future for small and medium-sized companies?
This is the promise. They are promised to all of us. So I'm expecting, and I wish that in 2011 they will start lending the money to small businesses. Because in the end of the day, we need them. They represent 99% of all of the businesses in UK. So we needed to help them, basically.
Yeah, and I guess the property market has been hugely affected by the recession as well. No one seems to be buying. Are people going to start buying again in 2011 now?
Well, we are expecting that a lot of people will start buying properties in 2011. I mean, the price of the properties has decreased because of the recession, and some analysts are expecting the price to increase. But it is a very difficult question to be answered at this moment. I would say that if you are willing to buy, just wait for a next, let's say, couple of months. Just to have enough information, just to make sure that you will buy the properties in the right time.
What about the stock market? Is this a good area to invest your money at the moment?
Well, I mean, I think stock market, it depends upon in which companies you are buying the stock from.
It's always a tricky one, though, isn't it? Because some companies seem to be doing really well, and then today's market is changing considerably. So it's doing well today and may not be doing so well tomorrow.
Well, it can happen. I think that is not, nothing new in taking into consideration the economic recession. But for a few of us, it's quite new, isn't it, to challenge a recession. But for other players in the marketplace, this is the second recession, then it will be the third, the fourth, because this is a normal economic condition. It happens. It is economic cycle.
Okay, it's time for a short break now. We'll be back with Rodolfo in a minute. We'll be talking about the new changes imposed by the new government and how that's going to affect you at home. So stay with me.